I don't think I'm telling you any tall tales when I say that a lot of us have a little bit of trouble putting something away. Yeah? I remember seeing a story on more than one occasion that a good chunk of us here in America would be in some real trouble if we got sick, or if we had a car breakdown with something major, or if a major appliance breaks down, needs replacing. I've certainly been in this place. I think a lot of us have. On a related note, it seems like no matter how much our kids, the young folks, save, it seems like just simple housing, even a studio apartment, seems to be out of reach of the younger generations because of the cost of living is just out of control, and your daughter's working at Hardee's for $12 an hour, that kind of thing. They can't afford, even with a roommate, maybe, in a studio apartment. Yeah, that's way too close for comfort. Just saying. So, I've got 3 kids. My youngest is going to be 24 in October, and they all still live here at home because they can't afford to live anywhere else. And it's at the point where I feel like the best course of action is to pay off the house and give it to them, with the understanding that you keep a room handy for the wife and I, and we go traveling in our later years before we can't do it, That's the goal, And for those of us that have children, we're now entering nervous season. For me, what do I mean by that? For me, fall has meant the anxiety of thinking about Christmas coming up, putting stuff under the tree. I come by it honestly. My father was on the Eisenhower in 1983, and they were in the Indian Ocean. And it was October of 1983, and somebody decided that they needed to bomb the Beirut Hilton, and it was, October? My dad was going to come home for Christmas, and all of a sudden, he was not going to do that. And I remember getting up to go to school and coming downstairs and realizing that my mom was on the phone, and she was sobbing because she was talking to somebody in Italy with TWA, trying to get a refund for the ticket because they weren't coming home. And my mom was crying and desperate and saying, I need this money back. It's November. I got to put something under the tree for the kids. Now, whether or not she was trying to play on somebody's sympathies, because of what I've learned in my later years, that's one thing. But the other thing is, at the time when I was 13 years old, this was a kind of a moment that I remember. You know what I'm saying? And it's a source of anxiety for me, especially, in the years that, Kim and I, we were, poorer than dirt, trying to make sure that we had something for the kids under the tree. And that is probably the greatest source of stress that I know yearly. Less so these days, but, more so when Christmas was throwing up in my living room. I have long since passed the age where Christmas throws up in my living room. So I still get gifts for everybody, of course. But nowhere near the tonnage that I used to. The volume, it's not there, The anxiety of putting that money away has lessened a great deal for me. And I still get pangs as we get closer to Christmas, but I have found a solution that works for me, and I want to share it with you. And I call it Roley's Christmas Club account. Now, if you don't know what a Christmas Club, I'll explain. I don't know if this is a thing anymore, actually, but you used to be able to go to your bank and set up an automatic deposit into a savings account in order to have money there when it's time to go holiday shopping. You could withdraw it. You couldn't withdraw it before a certain date, right? But then that day comes along and you can withdraw it, and that's your Christmas money. That's a Christmas Club account, and it accrued interest. Now, what I'm doing doesn't accrue any interest, but anyway, save it for that. So let's say you manage to put some money away for Christmas. I have a lot of money that needs something to do, but I generally have no idea what the kids are into at that moment in time. And if you've bought toy horses for the daughter just because she told you that she liked horses in May and she's graduated to anime in September and never mentioned it, you might know what I'm talking about. So I have devised a solution that makes everybody happy. And I get to take care of Christmas with as little anxiety as possible, and I don't catch a homicide charge by New Year's Day. Okay. In fact, the only thing that I have to deal with is the usual holiday gloom that I go through every year, so that's another story for another time. The main ingredient that you need for this recipe is Amazon. Now, if you object to Amazon for whatever reason, that's fine. I understand. Vaya con Dios, compadres. This is what works for me. Everyone in the house has a wish list that they share with me. Okay? Everyone in the house. They have created a wish list and they have shared it with me. And over the course of the year, they can put whatever they want on it. Second, if you have an Amazon account, you have a gift card account, right? A reloadable gift card. And I use it as a savings account. Every paycheck, I put a minimum of $25 in the account on that gift balance. And just using the minimum, if you get paid twice a month, $25, you have $500 in that account by the end of October. Of course, you need to make sure you don't engage that gift card if you buy something, during the year. So make sure you check before you place your order, check the payment method. And if it says, zero because you've got, $300 in your, and what you just bought was $50 and it says zero there, you're using that gift card balance. Go back and check that, okay? It's very important that you do this first. When you get paid, do this first. If you sit there and think about it, you'll find another reason for that $25. I promise me. I promise you, you will. You find another reason because, in some cases, not today, but in some cases, that's a tank of gas or diapers or whatever. Put the $25 on the Amazon account first. You don't miss, actually, if you do it and you don't think about it, you're going to find you don't miss that $25. And it's residing in the place that it's going to do some good in the long term. Of course, you may be able to contribute more. And if you can, I would say this. If you can find that you can contribute more, then your brain has made the jump into knowing you can put money away. So take that extra money that you're thinking about putting in the Amazon account and put it in a savings account for when you need to replace the refrigerator. Okay? Like one does. I'm not saying nothing. So I hope this helps. And if you have other ways to handle this, share with the class. I'd appreciate it. That's going to do it for this episode of Roley. Again, you can follow me on most of the socials. Chris Roley, KRISROLEY. One name all the same, if you please. And it's Roley, ROLEY, on the podcatcher of your choice for the audio version. And chrisroley.com, our home, where I tend to put things up. Like you do. It's a thing. I don't know. Question everything but the contents of a tuna melt some. Shit you gotta take on faith. Stay solid, people. Bye-bye.